The 2010s have been a decade that's seen a huge shift in the landscape of the anime world that it'd be a shame not to go through it again. I don't want to bore you with a history lesson, so let's do this the good old ViniiTube way. For me, these are some of the moments in anime that have carved themselves into the minds of fans all over the world. Well, what are you waiting for? Let's get the show going. The curtains open and we look at the first entry on the list, Might Guy opening the 8th gate. Now, we've been through this a lot on the channel, so I won't recap it again. Regardless, isn't it just a testament of how big this moment was, especially for Naruto? Longtime underguy and comedy mentor Might Guy finally shows off what he's got in his highly risky attempt at defeating Madara. In a way, I'd argue that this moment's probably not the most epic or thrilling part of the long Ninja War saga in Naruto's final act, but think about it. Did you even see this coming? I mean, we all know from the beginning that Naruto and Sasuke were bound to have a final showdown, or that the supposed last boss Madara would have his moments of steamrolling through the opposition. But did we expect Might Guy, out of all people, to be the one to force the seemingly invincible Uchiha on the defensive? It's certainly a twist that cemented itself as one of the pivotal moments of the final Naruto arc. Few sacrifices and deaths can match the sheer audacity and glory of the one shown by Reiner. Before Babylonia's Leonidas, there was one big bro character in a Fate series anime. Remember him? Of course you do. Who doesn't know Bro Skander? Yep, I'm talking about Fate Zero's Rider. It's poetic that the legendary Greek conqueror gets one of the most epic curtain calls in Fate anime history. Opening with the dazzling display of his noble phantasm and his resounding words to his master, Rider's hopeless battle against Gilgamesh truly showed what the heart of a hero's like. He knew he was heading into certain death, yet Rider charged on and faced it with glory and dignity. Sheer willpower pushed him to even nearly get a hit on Gilgamesh. He may not have won this fight, but he got the respect of the King of Heroes, as well as millions of Fate fans worldwide. After 12 emotional rollercoaster episodes, Madoka Magica concluded with a wish that changed everything. However, instead of material things or miracles, Madoka thought of the impossible, transcending into godhood. With one wish, Madoka transcends her mortality into the very concept of eradicating witches, the product of the despair in the hearts of magical girls. Madoka Magica's anime series ends with her taking on the burden of the world's despair in order to shine an empowering light that encourages everyone to face life head-on. Indeed, for a lot more anime fans at the time, 2011 would be known as the year Madoka died for our sins. Fittingly parallel to the real-life situation in Japan with all the natural disasters, Madoka Magica was a show that demonstrated how hope has the power to overcome even the greatest despair brought about by fate. Haikyuu solidified itself as the next big thing in sports anime. It has its fair share of exciting moments, and even the Season 3 finale match against Shiratorizawa's no exception. Holding on to a slight lead and feeling worn down by the intense duel, Karasuno prepared to give their all in a last shot to win the game. Utilizing a sync strategy full of decoys, Hinata and Kageyama set up the decisive spikes. Talk about teamwork. And it was an extremely close win too. The ball barely went through Shiratorizawa, and it was a moment that led to multiple sighs of relief all over the Haikyuu fandom. Kudos for an excellent match between the two teams and an awesome finale. You know what this means though, don't you? Karasuno's headed to the Nationals. What awaits them as they take on greater challenges? Watch Season 4 to find out. 未来に発展も変革もないと信じる理由はないのである。よう。ロイ。所詮人間混乱してろ。 Since you love rage moments, how about one to symbolize the decade? This next moment's courtesy of everyone's favorite state alchemist, Roy Mustang. I don't know about you, but if there's a character for me that symbolizes being a cool badass in FMA, it's got to be Roy. Between his numerous creative sets in battles and impressive victories, I'm not sure if anyone, save a few select characters, could match this fire wielder. Angry Roy's a sight to behold, and nothing beats seeing Envy being completely outclassed. His battle with Envy, much like the one with Lust, isn't a fight, but a massacre. Mustang gives in to all hatred and revenge inside him. At this point, he didn't just want to kill Envy, but give him a slow, painful execution. It was as if he was a completely different character compared to the one we know and love. The difference between the homunculus and the alchemist is far too great, and I'd call this one of the most complete dominations in the series. Makes me wonder what would have happened if Mustang somehow got hold of a philosopher's stone. Trust me, it wouldn't be pretty. It still hurts to this day, doesn't it? An effort worth an entire arc gone to waste as Luffy's forced to watch his beloved brother die in front of his eyes. Hope turns to despair at the end of Luffy and Ace's fight through the Marines. Stepping in at the last moment, Ace takes a hit from Akainu, saving his brother in the process. Instead of escaping, Ace decides to make the ultimate sacrifice. We could say that Ace died on his own terms, but that still doesn't make this moment any less depressing for the millions of One Piece fans all over the globe. Reality ensues and not all rescue missions go the way the hero's plan. Luffy gets slapped with a dose of reality, making him realize the scale of the world beyond and how he must keep getting stronger for his brother's legacy.
俺は生まれてきてもよかったのかな。
そりゃあお前生きてみりゃわかる。闇の翼ゼムと。
I know there are a lot of people who aren't a fan of the Berserk movies, but I personally feel the third Berserk movie did a fantastic job adapting one of the most iconic scenes in manga. An exceedingly rare event which signifies the birth of a new member of the God Hand, the Eclipse is the highlight of Berserk's Golden Age storyline. Broken by his defeat and previous failures, Griffith becomes an easy victim of the God Hands. It's far too easy for a broken and proud knight to give in to the greatest temptations of all. A massacre follows with Guts and Casca the only survivors. Subjected to visions of his past, Griffith begins his transcendence, culminating with his birth as Femto. It took the intervention of the Skull Knight to save the Black Swordsman from impending doom. It's a fittingly ominous sight to herald the rise of the Lord of Darkness.
終わってもいい。
One of the top rage moments this decade goes to Hunter x Hunter's Gon. We're talking about his key moment in the Chimera Ant arc, where he finally concedes the typical standards of ideal heroism and begins his brief transformation into that thing. Throwing all care into the air and looking to only destroy, the otherwise jolly and upbeat Gon transforms and lays Pito down with a beating that Hunter x Hunter fans won't forget anytime soon. The battle versus Pito is not the most spectacular fight in Hunter x Hunter, but that's mostly the point. It's not about putting on a show, instead the fight serves as a culmination of Gon's character development, showing the hidden depths of what the otherwise cheerful hero is capable of. For a moment, it seems as if the villain and the hero traded places, with Gon looking like a complete and unstoppable engine of destruction.
貴様殺す。戦士として If
you immediately guessed that this featured moment is Reiner and Bertholdt's betrayal, congratulations. Who would have thought that two of the most iconic titans, one who's even the face of the series, would turn out to be among humanity's last lines of defense? It hurt especially for Eren, who's been a little brother figure to Reiner of sorts, to see that the people he looked up to transform into the gigantic monsters that have haunted him right before his very eyes. The moment pretty much came out of nowhere, but it's big enough that it's a complete game changer in the world of Attack on Titan. Yet we know people can transform into Titan, but this reveal was still on another level. All along, humanity's enemies have been hiding among them, and this scene brought a huge impact and reactions from viewers. To have one of the biggest mysteries of the show revealed in such a completely unnerving manner was amazing and absolutely genius, making all the questions and confusion fade into the background of the epic fight that takes place. So, did I miss anything? Of course I did. 10 moments isn't enough to list all the epicness that's been in anime in the past decade. Regardless though, I hope the video allowed you to have a more retrospective look at the past 10 years and relive some of the most exciting moments in anime. I'm 100% sure that you have some other moments in your mind, and I'd love to hear from you. The comment section is all yours, and if you're interested in more content like this, don't hesitate to hit those like and subscribe buttons below. So that's gonna do it for now, but this isn't the end of ViniiTube's Decade Playback. See you next time.
We gotta learn